Hello students, hope you all are well and are utilizing this time to acquire the knowledge and study the course properly. Here with today we are going to discuss the next topic, that is the capability curve of synchronous alternator. The capability curve is very important with respect to the power system, which is also known as PQ diagram. So in order to understand the capability curve, we will first try to know what is power limit. So there are three basic type of physical limit on the operation of a synchronous machine. So they are the physical limit beyond which the machine may get damaged or it is not possible to give the input or take the output beyond this maximum limit, and these are the physical limit of the winding, physical limit of the prime mover, physical limit of the electromagnetic torque. So these power limits are basically classified into three categories, that is the thermal limit, mechanical limit and electromagnetic limit. Again we will start with the simplified lagging power factor diagram, and we will try to understand the impact of above three physical limit, that is thermal, mechanical and electromagnetic limit of synchronous generator on the operation. So let us first consider this phasor diagram. We are taking the voltage as a reference axis. E is the induced EMF, or you can say the excitation voltage. The angle between E and V is the delta, which is well known as the load angle. Theta is the load power factor. Ia is the armature current or generator current, which lag behind the voltage by an angle theta. So we are considering a case of a lagging power factor drop. Here we are neglecting the armature resistance. Xs is the synchronous impedance and JIaXs is the impedance drop. So vector summation of induced EMF is equal to terminal voltage plus IaXs drop. Let us discuss the limit one by one. First one is the thermal limit. Thermal, as you know, thermal limit is associated with the temperature. So thermal limit sets the maximum temperature rise and therefore the maximum power loss in the different parts of the machine. Let us consider first the rotor. So the major losses in the rotor are the rotor resistive loss or the field winding resistive loss, which are represented by If square into Rf, where If square is the field winding current and Rf is the field winding resistance. So if a field current is above a certain level, then If square into Rf losses will take place and it will be very high, which may lead to the failure of insulation and winding may burn out or rotor may damage. So in order to manage this thermal condition, field current is limited to a certain value, and limitation of field current is nothing but the limitation of induced excitation in the armature winding. Therefore the first limit is the rotor heating limit, which will set us mode E maximum. I am repeating, please note down, the rotor heating limit sets E maximum. Similar to the rotor, stator winding is also there, and in stator winding also we are having the Ia square into Ra drop. So excessive armature current will cause the stator temperature to rise beyond a safer level, and we will be defining the stator heating limit. So the stator heating sets Ia maximum. Please note down, the stator heating limit sets Ia maximum. In steady state, this limit is nothing but the rated current of the machine. This may exceed due to a service factor. Let us take an example to understand a service factor. For example, the rated current of generator is 100 ampere and service factor is 1.15. It means the generator can operate safely at 115 ampere. The heating limits can be drawn as a locus of the phasor diagram. So the rotor heating limit E maximum and stator heating limit Ia maximum can be drawn as the phasor diagram. So the first locus of E maximum, denoted by blue dashed line, is the locus of the rotor heating limit. Similarly, the locus of Ia axis maximum, denoted by red circle, is the stator heating limit. Second and third limit are the mechanical and electromagnetic limit. Mechanical means the generator whose input energy is mechanical. So input power is given to the generator by the prime mover. So mechanical limit is the physical capacity of the prime mover. So as a result, the prime mover limit set the maximum output power that can be taken from the generator. So which is denoted by P max, and that is equal to E sin delta max. So P max or E sin delta max is the mechanical limit. The final limit is the electromagnetic limit. Electromagnetic limit is related to this mechanical input and ability of generator to electromagnetically create a torque equal and opposite to the driving mechanical torque. As you are knowing, the Tm, that is the mechanical torque, and Te, that is the electromagnetic torque, which are opposite, and at steady conditions both are equal. So recall that the torque is nothing but the cross product of two fields, or it is nothing but the function of sine of the V and E. So at a given excitation, if the mechanical torque increases, the rotor speeds up obviously, which will increase in delta, that is the load angle, and therefore the electromagnetic torque. So this negative feedback continues until the electromagnetic and mechanical torque balances. However, if generator is operating at a load angle delta close to 90 degree, and at this situation, if rotor speeds up, then delta increases and it passed 90 degree. The electromagnetic torque falls and now positive feedback occur, which will cause the rotor to accelerate further. And this further acceleration may lead to the out of synchronism, or it is called pull out of synchronism, and which will result into zero output power and possibly the catastrophic failure. So this is called the electromagnetic limit. The static stability limit is set at delta is equal to 90 degree. So adding this limit to the phasor diagram, that is the mechanical limit as well as the electromagnetic limit, which is here denoted by the black dotted line, locus of E sin delta by maximum, that is the prime mover limit, and locus of delta maximum, that is the steady state limit or the electromagnetic limit, which is denoted by green color. So we will repeat once again. So thermal limit, mechanical limit, and electromagnetic limit can be divided into four limit. First one denoted by blue color, that is locus of E maximum, which is called the rotor heating limit. Second one denoted by red color, that is locus of Ia maximum, which is also called the stator heating limit. Third one, that is locus of E sin delta maximum, prime mover limit or mechanical limit, and locus of delta maximum, that is delta is equal to 90 degree. Angle between E and V is 90 degree, denoted by green color, which is called the steady state limit or electromagnetic limit. So here all these limits are added on our phasor diagram. So this is the simplified phasor diagram which we have seen. Now normally we are defining the power limit. So this limit which we have seen in the previous slides are to be transformed in terms of power limit. Power limit means active power, reactive power, and apparent power. That means Vi cos theta, Vi sin theta, and Vi. So for this reason, all the quantities in this phasor diagram are multiplied by 3v divided by xs. I am repeating, the phasor diagram, that is simplified phasor diagram of lagging power factor, is scaled by 3v upon xs to obtain active, reactive and apparent power. So if we multiplied the v, that is our base value, by 3v by xs, it becomes 3v square by xs. If I multiplied ia xs by into 3v by xs, it becomes 3v ia, which is nothing but as apparent power, which is the summation of p plus jq. So the p, that is vi cos theta, and q, that is vi sin theta. Similarly, E is transferred to 3ve by xs, and angle between v and E is delta. So this is a scaled lagging power factor diagram which is transferred from the voltage basis to the power basis. Now further, here we need to transfer this diagram into PQ diagram, and obviously we are taking the active power on the x-axis and the reactive power on the y-axis. So this diagram is rotated at 90 degree in clockwise direction, and then mirror image is taken. So by doing so, the power diagram can be redrawn as considering the active power P on the x-axis and reactive power Q on the y-axis. Therefore, there becomes a capability diagram. So in this, finally in this PQ plot, in phasor diagram, we are going to have the locus of all four limit, that is the stator heating limit, rotor heating limit, mechanical limit or prime mover limit, and the electromagnetic limit or maximum power delta max limit. So the capability diagram means our generator should operate where the intersection of all these limit comes, which is shown here by the gray part, which is called the operating area. So at any point of time, any of the limit should not cross. For example, if this is my operating point, then it is inside the locus of the stator heating limit, but it has crossed the locus of the rotor limit. Therefore, this is not an operating point. Similarly, this is also not an operating point. This is also not an operating point. So the operating point is it should not cross the locus of any Ford diagram. So this is called the PQ diagram. The shape seems to be like nose. So this is also called the nose curve, which is very, very important when understanding the power system stability. So in a broader view, the generator capability curve is a plot of P versus Q, or it is a complex power curve, that is S is equal to P plus JQ. So this is our vector diagram. So here you can see the four different limits, that is the prime mover limit, then stator current limit, field current or rotor current limit, and P delta limit. So this red color is the operating zone where the machine can work. Summary: the steady state limit of synchronous generator operation are rotor heating limit, which sets of E maximum, stator heating limit, which sets A maximum or IA maximum, prime mover limit, which sets P maximum, and steady state limit, which sets delta maximum.